Hello, friends, and welcome to Torah Tuesday. Okay, I am still trying to get my angle right. I think that's pretty good. Okay, we are talking about a new book of the Torah today, the book of Numbers. The book in Hebrew is Bamidbar, and that is the name of the first parsha. We are going to get started following up on something we did a couple weeks ago, where in Leviticus 10:2, so about a month ago, we looked at three explanations for the deaths of Aaron's sons who did something and got consumed by this strange fire. So maybe some commentators thought it was an accident because they weren't trained. Others thought they were showboating or they were drunk, they were showing off and um, got immolated by the fire. And then there was a minority, but still a few commentators thought that this was some kind of idol worship. So we're going to start our source sheet today with that previous text. And we're going to jump in today at chapter 3. So basically, this parsha is the first 4 chapters. I'm just going to take a peek at OBS and make sure this is behaving. Yes, you are seeing what you should be seeing. So I'm going to go back to here. So what we're getting here is lineages. They're doing a census. They're talking about who was the son of who. And so here are the names of Aaron's sons, Nadab and Abihu, the first two. And they were anointed priests, ordained for the priesthood. But Nadab and Abihu died by God's will when they offered alien fire before God in the wilderness of Sinai, and they left no sons. So it was Eleazar, it was the two younger brothers. Okay, so this is the first piece I want to follow up. And oh my goodness, I need to sign in to Safaria. I had been signed in. No, I don't want to be in the experimental lab. I'm already logged in. So let's get back to where we were. We were in Numbers 3:4. I don't know why this was misbehaving. All right, I'm going to try resetting the sheet. Boy, there's nothing more fun than streaming somebody having technical difficulties, is there? Okay, here we go. Our Torah Tuesday Bamidbar right there. We'll add it to the sheet. Okay. So what do people have to say? One thing I'm going to cover on Saturday is the trope are just really interesting. There's this repetition of these 4 of the same trope in a row. And then this is a pazer. It's super high. So it's kind of bringing a lot of attention, saying, Abihu and Nadiv, they died before God, kind of drawing close with this strange fire. And these tropes are really dramatic. So that's kind of interesting. We'll take a look at that. I want to look at some other translations too. So here it says by God's will. I do not like that translation. Even here they say literally before God. Like they died before God, they died in God's presence. But it wasn't, maybe it was by God's will, but that's here in 1917, I like these JPS translations are much more true to, I think, kind of the way that we would think about these. So I'll just give this alternate translation. And yes, for all that I complain about the modern JPS translation, that is the default that I still use. But partly because we find out interesting things by looking at it. Let's look at some commentary. Rashi. So these younger sons served during Aaron's lifetime. Okay, I don't think it's that interesting. A point. Al Panay in the presence of. So that's something which I think other commentators talk about more. Um, so this kind of talking about, oops, that's not what I was trying to do. This talking about when they died and what it meant. That's perhaps interesting. Most interesting thing I've seen so far. Sforno. I mean, I'm hoping is they've come back to this. Like they died for doing this alien fire. It's a story that keeps coming up over and over again. Okay, Sforno says that's the only thing they were guilty of. Let's add that to the sheet for doing this strange fire. Okay, and here they had no sons. If the sons had been around, the sons would have taken over, not the younger brothers. I think that's interesting as well. All right, the fact that these were the high priests that had to be anointed, yeah, whatever. His Huni often has interesting takes, and I think this is a good one as well. Um, okay, so um, I want to open up this midrash because it's saying that if the sons of Aaron had sons, they would have proceeded. Their shortcoming was they did not marry and assure themselves of offspring. So let's add this to the sheet. And I want to look at this. What did the midrash itself say? Okay, they died by alien fire. So this is kind of interesting. There's this take. There's this take that they were kind of loved. All right, I'm going to kind of just copy all of this. All of verse 23. Is there a way actually? Oh yeah, here we go. I could just add it to the sheet. Because there's a lot of good stuff about what different rabbis had to say. It was for drawing near the fire, because there's some stuff I want to get to later that this is going to connect to. Okay, we're going to go back. Here we go. We're going to go back again. All right, we're going to close that. Uh-oh, we're still at Shizkuni. All right, let's go to Numbers 3:4. What is this? Okay. We're going to take this moment to just take a sip from our Safaria mug because we're giving free publicity to Safaria because it is such a kick-ass free resource. Okay. We go to Tanakh. We go to Numbers. We go to chapter 3. Still loading chapter 3. Still loading. Come on here, guys. You're killing my viewership. Okay, the Hebrew is turned off. All kinds of issues have happened. Okay, so we're talking about, these guys died. I'm wondering, Tanakh, you remember we just clicked on Tanakh? That is the Hebrew Bible. And I'm wondering where else this shows up. Okay. Well, Chronicles is a really deep cut. It's one of the later books of the Bible. It's hardly ever referenced. You'll occasionally see it here and there, but this is recounting of events. So here, okay, let's add it to the sheet. But I'm wondering just what else is in Chronicles. Is there some other? So, all right, this is just more of the same. Now, is there commentary on this? There is a little bit. Is any of it in English? What did Rashi say? Jezodak was Joshua's father. All right, so these are just a bunch of kind of biblical deep cuts. That doesn't interest me particularly. So let's try to go back. Let's see if we can get back to Numbers. Here we go. Okay. Last thing is there any other midrash that might be? I think we looked at this Bamidbar. Yeah, this is what we looked at before. Midrash, these are kind of rabbi fan fiction. Oh, wow. This is kind of funny. It's saying that they died only because they taught halacha in the presence of their master Moses. That is really rich. There's all kinds of other stuff here. I'll look through this later. But that's just the rabbis retrojecting their, things interesting to them into this prior time. Another midrash. Good name is better than good oil. All right. Oh, there's 4 places in Scripture. Okay. I kind of think that's interesting. Again, it was brought up 4 times. All right, I think we're kind of running out of juice here. I do like looking at the Aramaic translations. Yeah, that's not particularly interesting. It's a little repetitive. All right. So, there's another thing though, because somehow there's something deadly about this spiritual technology, something about the sacrifices is kind of dangerous. And we see another connection to that a little bit later. We're going to skip ahead to chapter 4. Okay, so all kinds of, we're now looking at the census of the different house of the Levites and the Kohathites. They were a clan among the Levites. So here was what their responsibility was, the most sacred objects. So what do we mean by that? Well, we're going to add this to the sheet. Okay. So Aaron and their sons, this is when the tabernacle, the Mishkan, was a mobile sanctuary. So it would get broken down and everybody had a job about, you break down this part and you carry that. So, okay, they're breaking this down, and here's the bowls and the jugs, and there's another cloth, and they're covering the lampstand, and all the furnishings, and then they cover the altar, and then they take the service vessels and they put them in a frame. So this, I think, will just kind of be a good placeholder for stuff we want to reference. Okay, so when Aaron and their sons finished with all of this, da-da-da-da, we add that to the sheet. Then these Kohathite dudes came and lifted them, so they did not come into contact with the sacred objects and die. These things in the tent of meeting shall be the portage of the Kohathites. So let's see what this little b says, continuing from verse 4. So, okay. So basically this is saying that these sacred objects, only the sons of Aaron could touch them because they were so sacred, and anyone else who would touch them would die. So they had to cover them up with all these different cloths and hang them, and then these other people could kind of pick up the wood or pick up the bags without coming in contact. It's like there's some kind of holy contagion. There's something. What is going on? Why is this so deadly for them? Okay. Well, Rashi, okay, so Rashi is clarifying they are liable to death by heaven. This is kind of what they're talking about. Where's the dive? Emut ele masa b'nei koach. So yes, it's it's like they're not holy enough in order to touch these. I don't know, it's just weird stuff. More about that. Do we get any kind of deeper spiritual takes on this? I think maybe it was Hizhuni. Who was it? Rashbam, Rashi's grandson. What do you got to say? Give us something interesting. All right, so once again, everything's been covered. So I think we need something a little more spiritual to understand this. First, we'll look in the Tanakh. All right, it's just going back to that one we already saved. The Targum, I doubt we're going to get much interesting here. So yeah, they must not touch the holy. Okay, Kabbalah, Halacha. What do we got in Midrash? Give us something good. Okay, we're back to the Bamidbar Rabbah. So here's the order. Why did they talk about the ark? So you dismantled in the same order that you created them. After that, they shall come and carry them. So here's something a little bit about the sacred order. So it's saying that the sons of Aaron are kind of super special. So that's why they can live. That's why they can live. So, this is like kind of a little bit of an interesting take, but I don't really want to go down that road, I don't think. So, we have really gone off the trail here. I'm crashing and burning. People are just leaving left and right, but we're going to go back to this 415 again. Come on, give me some good stuff here. I peeked earlier and I found something interesting, but I cannot find it. Maybe it was the Bimidbar Rabbah stuff that I already found. Oh, there's something in this liturgy too. Um, oh, that's not interesting either. Loads us up. Okay, that's not great. Well, I think we're coming to the end of our. I thought we'd kind of find some more interesting stuff rabbit holing around this, but I am not. I'm not finding this. Maybe the why do people suffer when they do the right thing? Okay, this is okay. Yeah, this is kind of what we talked about earlier. Um, I think I'm going to quit while I'm behind, and we're going to wrap up our stream for today. Please come by Torah Saturday. I will work on this a bit more. I will look through some of my books and try to find some additional interesting spiritual connections. And maybe this just kind of is what it is. I will see you Saturday. Bye.